So today we're going to focus on how to take two coordinate points and write the entire equation from those points. So I'm going to start off like we started off yesterday with graphing the points so that you have a visual, and then we'll move into using the equation. So the first set of points I'm going to plot is 4, -2 and -4, -4. So go ahead and plot those points on your graph. Once you plot those points, connect them with a straight line. And your points should look something like this. Now we're going to go ahead and calculate the slope from these 2 points. So remember, you're going to look at the left point and you're going to figure out if you have to go up or down to get to the next point. So if I look at the point on the left, I would need to count up 2, and I would need to count over 8. Remember, your fraction should be how much you have to go up or down, the rise, over how much you go across the run. So my fraction here is going to be 2 over 8, which simplifies to 1/4. Now we're going to take these numbers and we're going to plug them into our equation. So recall from earlier in the week, the equation is y equals mx plus b. M stands for the slope here, so I'm going to replace the m with 1/4. X and y just stand for coordinate points, so I'm going to just leave that as x and y for now. So y equals 1/4 x, and b stands for where it crosses on the y-axis. So remember, the y-axis is the one that's going up and down, and I'm trying to figure out where my line crosses here. So if I go down on the y-axis, my line is going to cross at -3. So y equals 1/4 x minus 3. Now let's look at if I was given those 2 points, but I was not going to graph them on the coordinate plane. I need to figure out how I would get my slope and y-intercept from these 2 points. Now the slope is the same thing that you were doing yesterday. So remember, the equation is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to label my points here. The first one will be x1, y1, and the second one, x2, y2. And I just go ahead and I plug these points into my formula up here. So y2, -4, minus, don't forget to bring over that minus sign, y1, which is -2, over x2, -4, minus x1, which is minus +4. -4 minus -2 changes to -4 plus 2, which will give you -2 over -4 minus 4 gives us -8. And remember, you need to think of this like a fraction. So a negative divided by a negative is going to give us a positive. So that would change into positive 2/8, which is going to simplify to positive 1/4. So again, you get the same exact slope here that you get when you graph it on the coordinate plane. All right, once I get my slope here, I'm going to use my formula and plug in what I know. So again, the formula is y equals mx plus b. I'm going to replace the m with 1/4. And this is where the x and y kind of become important. So I know that I have an x and y point right here, and I have another one right here. It doesn't matter which point you pick. You're just going to pick one of the coordinate pairs. And you're going to plug in the x value and the y value. And you're going to solve the equation to get the y-intercept. So let's say I choose this first one here. I'm going to choose 4, -2. So I'm going to replace my y with -2. And I'm going to replace the x with +4 plus b. Now I'm going to solve this like I solve an equation. So I have -2 equals, and 1/4 times 4 is going to give me +1 plus b. I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides, and -2 minus 1 is going to give me -3 equals b. So now my final equation is going to be y equals mx plus b. And let's plug in what we have. So y equals 1/4 x minus 3. That's the same equation that you got earlier when we graphed it. So just 2 different ways to solve this problem. All right, let's look at another example. I'm going to go through this using the equation. If you want to graph them to double check your answers as you're going through this, that's fine. I've given you some extra coordinate planes, or you can just use the equations. So the next set of points we have is 0, 2, and 1, -3. All right, let's write our equation at the top just so you have it. And then let's label our coordinate points. All right, so again, I'm going to say y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. -3 minus 2 gives us -5. 1 minus 0 gives us 1. And -5 over 1 simplifies to -5. All right, that means that our m value in this equation is -5. All right, let's write down our equation. Y equals mx plus b. I'm going to replace m with -5. And now remember, you just got to pick one of these points. It doesn't matter which one you pick. So let's say I pick the second one. I'm going to replace x with 1. I'm going to replace y with -3. And I'm going to solve this so that I can get the y-intercept. -5 times 1 gives me -5. Plus b equals -3. I'm going to add 5 on both sides. And -3 plus 5 gives us 2. So b is equal to 2. That means that my final equation is going to be y equals mx plus b. I'm going to replace what I have. So y equals -5x plus 2. And that is your equation in slope-intercept form. All right, let's go ahead and do one more. So the points I'm going to look at are -4, 2, and 0, -5. All right, let's go ahead and label our points. And plug them into our formula. All right, so -5 minus 2 gives us -7, And 0 minus negative 4 becomes 0 plus 4, which gives us 4. So that tells us that our slope, or our m value, is negative 7 over 4. I can't simplify that any further. Right, now I'm going to use my equation, and I'm going to plug in what I have. Again, just choose one of the x and y points. It doesn't matter which one. So let's say I choose 0, negative 5. So I'm going to replace x with 0, y with negative 5, plus b. All right, negative 5 equals negative 7/4 times 0 is going to be 0, plus b. And if I subtract 0, negative 5 minus 0 gives us negative 5 equals b. It means that our equation would then be y equals negative 7/4 x minus 5.